BioSecure identity.
Our security measures. Our company uses biometrics to keep your company safer, keep track of employees, and help it run smoother. What is biometrics? Biometric verification is any means by which a person can be uniquely identified by evaluating one or more distinguishing biological traits. Using biometrics can greatly benefit your company.
Our plan of action. We plan to incorporate keystroke dynamics and iris scan into our company's security.
Keystroke dynamics. Keystroke dynamics identify a person based on their typing behaviors. There are two characteristics of a person's typing that the keyboard bases their information off of. They are dwell time and flight time. Dwell time is how long a person stays on a specific key, and flight time is how long it takes to go from one key to another. A special keyboard embedded with a specific program records and remembers an individual's typing behavior.
Another way that keystroke dynamics work. Upon hiring, the company would have a list of 10 pre-made security questions that each employee must answer. The answers given by the employee should be specific to the individual. Their answers are then implemented into the computer system. So now, not only does the computer system recognize the keystroking behaviors of the employee, but also recognizes their passcodes that should match with the keystroking behaviors.
Advantages. Every person has a unique keystroke. By creating a constant, this process implements characteristics specific to the individual, such as pressure, dwell time, and flight time. It would take a lot of practice or a great deal of luck in order to hack into the system.
Disadvantages. Sometimes it can be very challenging for an individual to create a permanent stroke due to many different reasons. Some examples could be mood, tiredness, or influence of alcohol and medicine.
How to beat the system of keystroke dynamics. Beating or hacking into a system that is guarded by keystroke dynamics is a very difficult action, if not an impossible action to complete. In order to be able to give it a good try, one must study and master the specific person's typing behaviors without any imperfections taking place. In order to mimic another person's keystroke behaviors perfectly takes either a great deal of luck or a great amount of time to study their habit.
Now that we have explained how keystroke dynamics works, we will explain how it can be used in your business. A situation in which keystroke dynamics can be used is when an individual is clocking in or out of work, but the company wants to be sure it's truly the individual who is doing this. The individual will have to know their specific passcodes, which must then match up with their keystroke dynamics in order for them to have access to the next checkpoint, which is the iris scan.
Iris scan. Everyone has random patterns in their iris, which is the colored part of the eye. Iris scans help identify the person based on their unique eye patterns. This is done by a recognition detection of the iris using mathematics and computer vision.
How it works. When the picture is taken, the camera pinpoints the location of the pupil, the iris, and the eyelashes. Usually, your eye is 3 to 10 inches away from the camera. After taking the picture, it will then analyze the patterns and translate them into codes.
Advantages of iris scanning. Iris scanning is a very accurate and a very reliable tool to use. Only about 1 in 1 to 2 million iris scans are failures. This means that a very little number of iris scans are false matches. The iris is a great part of the eye to use because it is protected by the cornea. This means that there is a relatively very little change, if any, with the iris because the cornea is protecting it from damage and harm. Another advantage is that the process of iris scanning can be performed safely and correctly with some distance from the eye.
While it is a very unique test, there are certain disadvantages to iris scanning. Iris scanning is a relatively new technology. Due to this fact, the equipment used is typically very expensive. Employees may be against the use of invasive DNA technology as well. This could hinder the effectiveness of extra security if certain individuals do not use iris scanning.
How to beat the system. Since the iris is very small, if the person is not lined up correctly, it might not function properly. Also, the person has to be completely still during the scan. Lastly, some parts of the eye, like the eyelashes, can cause malfunction of the camera.
using it in your business. Just like with the process of keystroke dynamics, this is another test used to identify an individual based on specific characteristics of that individual. Iris scanning would take place after typing in the passwords after the process of keystroke dynamics. If access is granted, they will be allowed into the system and they will be allowed to clock in or out of work officially.
Privacy. The employer would have to come in and answer a series of security questions that are only specific to them. These questions would be available to the management.
Putting it all together. First, the employee must arrive to work before their shift begins. Once they arrive to work, they will be asked to answer 5 security questions on a computer, and they must type in their answers specific to them. Once the computer grants them access, they will walk over to get their iris scanned. If and when the iris scanner recognizes their iris, they will be allowed into the full system. Once they are allowed into the full system, they will be allowed to check in or check out of work.
Hey Colin, can you go sign me into work real quick?
Sure, what's your passcode?
I'll write it down real quick. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'll try signing in. You let me in. Alright. Now I'm going to the iris and clocking to work.